Am I the asshole for telling my parents they aren't really my parents? So my 20m parents weren't really present. My grandparents stayed with us and took care of me until I started daycare, but after a few incidents where the teacher was targeting me for no reason, they withdrew me. My parents said daycare seems too expensive, I was better off at home and refused to pay. My grandparents continued raising me, then I started school. They came over every morning and afternoon, basically whenever I was home. At that point, it felt like they should just move in with us, but my parents didn't want them to, since they'd have to pay for 2 more people living with us and they also didn't want them nagging all the time. I remember always asking my grandma why I never see my parents, and she'd try to change the topic. Well, I spoke to her recently, and after a lot of pressing and convincing, she admitted that my parents didn't want me or my brother, upon their own admission not long after we were born. And to top it off, as it turns out, my parents just stayed at work late every day so they wouldn't have to deal with me and my twin in general. They recently posted a picture of us, saying spending time with family is the best gift they've ever received. I never paid much attention, but it turns out, they've been posting mine and my brother's pictures for occasions like Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, etc. I spent the weekend making cute stuff out of wood with my grandparents, so I posted a few pics of those and added a caption, saying it was great to finally have a free weekend to spend with my parents. They called me up asking me what I meant by that post, and I told them I meant exactly what I typed out. I see my grandparents as my real parents, they're the ones who've been there for me. My grandma made our lunch and got us ready every day. My grandpa dropped us everywhere, school, competitions, name it. They were the ones who listened to all my problems, gave me advice, consoled me, fought for me. They guided us through life, not my parents. They guided us through life, not my parents, who gave birth to me and left it at that. My mother started crying, and my father said it's unfair of me to punish them for making their career a priority and taking breaks, since balancing career and parenting is stressful. I told them they didn't balance anything, they just pawned us off to our grandparents. They're now blowing our phones up and demanding apologies. So, am I the asshole? Unpopular opinion. Sometimes the family you choose is more important than the family you're born into. Your grandparents chose you every single day. That's real love. Your parents reaped the seeds they sowed. It's ridiculous for them to think otherwise. They should be thanking your grandparents and begging for forgiveness for their actions. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. They didn't put in the work to raise you, and it's not up to you to lie to protect them even if they had asked you to. Your grandparents did right by you. If anything, your parents now regret how they treated you and are clinging to the most superficial shows of parentage, holidays and birthdays, since they have nothing else to go on. Not saying that's necessarily true, but if your parents really thought they were prioritizing career for a better family, then maybe they truly did just fuck up the work-life balance. This does not mean they should be forgiven for their absenteeism or their apparent dislike of having children. Your words are the first realization of the consequences of their own actions, and they don't like it. Not the asshole. You spoke the truth. Not the asshole. Sounds like you just handed them a reality check, not a punishment. It's great that your grandparents stepped up, and it's totally fair to acknowledge them as your main support system. It's about who shows up for you, not just who shares your DNA. Not the asshole. Nothing can change the way you were treated and you called them out. Am I the asshole for telling my cousin that she can't invite her friends over for Thanksgiving? I have a medium-sized family nearby. A few different aunts and uncles, cousins, etc. Most years in the past one of my older cousins hosted Thanksgiving. She is kinda centrally located. This year she is having a major bathroom remodel and her place isn't really an option. She normally is very welcoming to family and her county workers and her friends. When I've asked if I could invite random friends over, she said she didn't feel comfortable with people over that weren't part of her life. I didn't push back. This year I'm hosting at my mom's. My mom is okay with me taking over this year. My cousin called and asked what times she should be over and said a few of her friends and coworkers wanted to know what to bring. I told her sorry but that they weren't in the guest list. She seemed annoyed and asked why not. I told her when she hosts she is very unwelcoming to people I would have liked to invite. She argued that it's different because I know them now through her. I just said, look, those are your friends. I don't make plans to see them. I only see them at your place. She did. I was being an asshole, but it sounded more like the B word. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Hosts make the guest list. Honestly, it sounds like she considers this her holiday, and you're hosting an extension of her hosting. That would explain why she told her regular guests to show up to your event. That is not your fault, and she should never have invited them without your permission. My friends are asking what they can bring. A turkey, a ham, stuffing, mashed potatoes, scalloped potatoes, 2 vegetable sides, 2 salads, appetizers, wine and dessert, along with cutlery, dishes, glassware, linen, Tables and chairs for 20 adults plus whoever you're including, because if you're bringing friends and co-workers, it's your event. Not the asshole. If you host, I suppose you're the one preparing the main meal. So you have the most expenses and you have to clean after everyone. You host, you make the guest list. If cousin wanted to invite one person, why not but co-workers and friends? How many people does she want to bring? Maybe it's a little petty to react that way, and you should have an open conversation with cousin about being authorized to invite a friend to her gatherings. And let her invite a friend. But considering that she can invite as much people she wants to someone else's place, it's weird to me. Not the asshole. It's simple. She hosts, she controls the invite list. You host, you control the invite list. Guests do not get to unilaterally invite other guests. She's acting extremely entitled. Not the asshole. That's a bold thing to assume she can invite her coworkers and friends to someone's house, let alone their Thanksgiving dinner. She's manipulating with that, "They're your friends now" too line. If she hosts again next year, are your friends invited? Because they're gonna get to know each other at your Thanksgiving, right? I highly doubt she would understand the irony. She's selfish and thinks everything revolves around her. Am I the asshole for refusing to talk to my in-laws about my infertility? My husband and I have been trying to conceive for over 2 years, which comes with its only struggles. Recently my mother-in-law is making comments about, "Just wanting a grandbaby already," or, "Are you even really trying?" These comments are becoming more often than when we first started trying. I have asked her to stop with the hurtful comments. My husband has asked her to stop, and she keeps making comments whenever we bring up the next step on the infertility journey. For example, we have an appointment on Friday to plan our IVF journey. She responded, "I think you guys just need to get drunk and boom baby." Am I the asshole for not feeling comfortable talking about the infertility with her? She is still coming to Thanksgiving, and I still talk to her when around. I just don't want to keep updating her on this journey when she just makes me feel like crap. Not the asshole. The first time they said this, "I wish you had the confidence to loudly stand up and tell them to stop asking him about your sex life." You now have an opportunity to do that every single time they bring it up. Embarrass them. Anytime they bring it up. In-laws' names, why do you keep asking about what we do in the bedroom? Why do you care about our sex life so much? How inappropriate to ask about our sex life. Who raised you? Any parent who is that deeply concerned with what their adult children are doing in the bedroom is actually a sicko. Don't make this about your struggles with conceiving, because that's yours to deal with privately. Just make it so awkward for them to ever ask again. Answer her with graphically sexual details. They don't need to be actual details about your sex life, but be really gross. "Oh, we've been doing reverse bat wing orgy cum bucket woohoos 6 times a day, for the last 3 weeks. Banged one out on your sofa, sorry about the smell." Does she text you about it? Send her links from Pornhub. It is crass? Absolutely. But her nosiness is more crass. Is my idea risky and controversial and not for everyone? Yes lol. I mean, you could also say, "We aren't taking questions or feedback about our sex life at this time, weirdo." Teach her the FAFO lesson. Not the asshole at all. Try a deadpan expression with, "All these questions are only causing stress, and stress makes it more difficult to conceive," or an even more direct, "I find your questions intrusive and inappropriate. I will share what I feel comfortable sharing, and if you persist in badgering me, then I'll be less inclined to share any news with you." If she brings it up again, walk away. Hopefully she's well-intentioned and will take the hint, but if she persists in her cluelessness, at least you won't have to listen to it. If she continues, then limit contact. You don't need the stress. Not the asshole. Read a freaking room. I find it so distasteful and disrespectful when people bring up procreation causally and guilt people around them. I'm also tired of family playing the grandparent card. Some people do not want to or cannot conceive, and it's hurtful that they should get reminded of that constantly. I hope everything goes well for you, Op. Getting pregnant is stressful enough as it is without in-laws harassing you. Not the asshole. You've asked her to stop. Now it's time to show her you mean it. She says something, the conversation is over and you're out of there. Even if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or her own birthday. Don't invite her to yours so it's easier to get away. She doesn't need more info. If she doesn't respect your request on its own, she just doesn't respect you, full stop. If you end up having a kid, she will get much worse, so it would be really good to get her used to boundaries now. Not the asshole. Thank you so much for caring about us and our child journey. Due to this being a very sensitive subject for me, I request you no longer mention having children or childbearing around me. If you have difficulty with this request, then I will simply distance myself every single time you mention it. There will be no other warnings. If you talk about it, I will simply get up and leave. Thank you for your understanding. Then you follow through each and every time she does it. You just get up and walk out the door and go and wait in the car for your husband to catch up. Am I the asshole gave my kid my wife's restaurant leftovers? A lighter. Am I the asshole? My wife, kid and I went out to eat the other day to a Mongolian restaurant that is rather far away, not easy to get another order. Each of us had distinctly different stir-fry meals. We each got to-go boxes, and my wife asked that we label whose is whose. I told her we didn't need to do that because I could tell the difference because mine had banana peppers, my kid had 2 different types of noodles, and my wife's had neither multiple types of noodles nor banana peppers. The following day, my wife was away and the kid and I ate our leftovers, leaving alone what I thought were my wife's. The next day, my wife notices that her stir-fry is gone. Apparently, her leftovers also had the 2 types of noodles that we originally only discussed my kid had. When my kid and I ate our leftovers, I pulled out the first 2 to-go boxes, saw one had banana peppers and the other had 2 types of noodles and figured those were ours. My wife is bummed because she was really looking forward to the leftovers and jokingly upset at me now. She tells me I was wrong for saying we didn't need to label the leftovers. She said I should have opened all 3 to-go boxes before eating any leftovers. So Reddit, am I the asshole for not opening up all 3 to-go boxes before the kid and I ate our respective food? I'll leave it to the subreddit community to pass judgment, or not, on my sin equals. You're the asshole. She asked you to do something small to ensure she could have her own leftovers. You refused to do that, bypassed her concerns, and then you served her leftovers to the kid because her concerns turned out to be 100% valid. If you're going to refuse to do something simple like label leftovers, you need to take more care before eating them to ensure you get the right ones. You could have avoided this situation by listening to your wife. But no, you could have avoided this situation by taking more care and checking all the boxes. But no again, now your wife is bummed, and guess whose fault it is? All you. Next time, just listen to her and label them. Clearly, your wife is right, and you cannot actually tell the difference. Yup, you're the asshole for 1. Not only not doing what she wanted but saying it wasn't necessary and therefore making it look like she would be rude to you if she labeled it herself. 2. Not checking properly when you said you would. 3. Acting as if your wife is being unreasonable for being upset when your lack of care hurt her. 4. Not caring about your wife enough to try to make up for your mistakes by replacing what you ruined for her, which most competent partners would have immediately rectified. I would literally vow eternal vengeance if someone ate leftovers I was looking forward to. Of course you are the asshole. You mansplained how you wouldn't fail at something so trivial, then you failed at something trivial. Next time open your ears and not your mouth when your wife is trying to tell you something. You are the asshole. I could tell the difference. You could not tell the difference. So you made the exact mistake your wife tried to avoid, and instead of just admitting she was right, you thought, well, let's see what Reddit has to say. That's why you are the asshole. Nothing new here, just a mom getting fucked over even though she gave a simple way to avoid the problem but dad thought he knew better. You are the asshole.